can start again.
Yeah, we're good to go, Chair. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Richards, if you'd like to continue.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry, I don't know if you can pick up. We've got some road works happening just outside the building, so I hope it's not coming through.
No, we can hear you well.
Yeah. Okay, right, thank you. So just to where I was, so the music will not be heard from the boundaries. My client will be monitoring that, that the music will not be going beyond the boundary of the premises, and also anyone vertically drinking on the streets. That is something that is a real no-no for him. It wouldn't be for this premises, and he currently discourages it now where he is at Southend. The building is currently disused, and he wishes to convert it into a micro pub to offer the residents in the area an alternative premises to sit down and consume responsibly, consume quality beers, ciders, lagers, and some wine. I'm not sure how much where I got up to, but it's coming up, so I think that's all. Is there anything you'd like to add?
No, not that I can think of. With the outside drinking, that just won't be a problem, because within our plans there's the outside drinking within our premises, so there wouldn't be any reason to people go to the pavement, because we'll have sort of ashtrays and everything there, so there shouldn't be any litter going onto the pavement. That'll be on our premises, and obviously I'll sweep and clean every morning anyway. Every morning I'll clean here every morning, so it'll be the same.
So, Chair, thank you. That concludes our presentation.
Thank you. Spot on time, even with a little interlude. Thank you. So if I can go to our subcommittee members, Councillor Mrs. Lorraine Shaw, would you like to ask some questions?
Thank you very much. Looking at the plans on 4.25, it shows you, you've shown us the type of furniture you want. How many are you actually going to have in front of your building? Because because I would like to know the dimensions, because it's going to be too close to the road, and is that a good ambient way of having a drink?
So the ones directly in front,
the front of your building, you've got two diagrams. Beer bench, it's upside down for me. Beer bench example and table and chairs example. Proposed ground floor plan. Now, these are the types of tables you're going to have outside of the front of the building, looking onto the road.
The table and chairs example are to the back of the building, because there's like a little secret garden there. And then the tables and chairs, there'll be like two-seaters to the side. And then hopefully we can get some beer benches just across the front. But that's not going straight onto the road. Obviously, the pavement is there too. That's on our little section.
So how many tables and chairs, sorry, Chair, can I ask for supplementary? How many tables and chairs would you like to have in the front of the building?
Ideally 4.
4. Okay, so that's like a total of 8 people sitting there.
4. No, 16. Hopefully we'll get 4 on the benches.
Right, okay. Thank you, Chairman.
Have you any other questions, Councillor Mrs. Shaw?
Yeah, there is. There's condition 6 regarding the front of the premises or the back, regarding smoking. I mean, it says you're going to have the smoking outside, but you can't stop people legally smoking in front of your building, can you? So how will you monitor that with the drinking, standing out there outside drinking? I think that's 4.2. Yeah, 4.27.
Sorry, number 6. Sorry, Chair. So my client will discourage anyone from being out on the street from smoking, and you know he'll be regularly looking and telling the customers that they must come in, so the pavement will not be used.
So can I just come in there? So if you've got 16 people sitting outside, you've got 3 people on one of your benches, non-smokers. You've got one is a smoker. You're going to say to them they've got to go out into your secret garden to smoke. They can't sit with their friends and smoke.
No, so at 11 o'clock, everybody has to come inside.
Yeah, well, I'm just talking about the daytime anyway, just sort of stopping people smoking outside. You're not having anyone smoking at the front?
Yeah, people can smoke at the front.
Okay, thank you very
Not
much.
on, not on the pavement. They can't take their drinks onto the pavement.
But just in where your curtilage is?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Is that your questions, Councillor Mrs. Lorenshaw?
Yes, thank you.
Councillor Mrs. Newport, your questions to the applicant, please.
Thank you, Chair. I have a few questions. Just going back on what Councillor Shaw said, with regards to the table and chairs, when you close up of an evening, where are they going? Are they staying there, and how secure will they be?
The smaller ones, the table and chairs, will be taken into the back and then secured, locked away. And the benches will hopefully be
Padlocked to chain to the down to the ground.
yeah,
Okay,
like the proper
Okay.
building.
thank you. And then a further question, with regards to the hot and cold foods, how are you going to provide those, and what are you going to provide?
We're going to do little toasted sandwiches. So we're going to have at the back, going to have like one of them sandwich presses. And yeah, we went to a little place in Tunbridge Wells, and it works really well. It's just a nice, just a nice little option.
And when is that going to be available from? Is that going to be all throughout your opening hours?
Probably till 9.
Until 9. Okay, thank you. And then I do have another couple of questions, if I may. With regards to the CCTV provision, you have it within the property, within the building. Are you anticipating having any CCTV on the outside, as that is where mainly your customers are going to be?
Yeah, definitely am actually. I suppose it's not on the plans, but I'll definitely have a camera pointing everywhere. Really. Yeah.
To assist with that, what we can do, we can we're happy to liaise with the licensing police and get some guidance on what they're happy with as well. So so the whole premises inside and outside, without any privacy beyond the curtilage of the premises.
Yeah, so you anticipate having the CCTV outside?
That's correct. Yeah.
True.
And then one last one, if I may, with regards to doormen, do you think that it would be advisable to have doormen on a Friday and Saturday evening, as most of the other licensed premises within Rayleigh do, for safety?
It's something that we will consider, and what we'll do, we also do it on a risk basis need. So obviously, because this is a new premises, it's quite hard to gauge what is going to be required, but we will do it on a risk-based basis, and then if need be, then it would be in place. When we're
So on your risk assessment basis, how are you going to do that? Can I just ask that?
I've actually got a DPS license myself, so I can certainly look into it, need for it. When we put in the application, the police haven't requested doormen, but certainly, you know, the security of my guests and staff would be paramount. But at the moment, we just think that it's just too small amount of people to warrant door staff at the moment.
Right, okay. And then just for my own nosiness, really, what alcohol do you want to sell? Is it just craft beers, or is it wine as well as spirits and fizzy bubbles, alka pops?
It won't be alcohol pops. It'll be nice wines that we have. It's like artisanal natural wines.
Okay.
And then spirits, but it's not sort of stuff that you see. It's not like Smirnoff and Gordon's. It's it'll all be sort of hand picked, sort of artisanal.
But spirits like gin, vodka.
Yeah, there'll be a small selection. Yeah.
Small selection. Okay, thank you. Right, that's all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right, I've got a few questions, please. First of all, on page 4.11, you're asking within your application the extension for the music on the Friday and Saturday night to midnight. Now, bearing in mind you will be closing at midnight, and just the prevention of the public nuisance of the noise as people are leaving your premises, would you consider reducing that to say 11:30, giving a half-hour quiet time while you're still open, as people are possibly leaving your premises, so they don't hear them, neighbours don't hear the new music in and out?
Yeah, that's fine. So it's not any. It won't be any live music because it's too small. But it'll just be background music. So I'm quite happy to turn it all down, turn the lights up, and turn the music down.
Thank you. So you'll be quite happy if that was reduced to 11:30 p.m.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes, Chair.
Thank you. You heard me obviously ask the licensing officer about pub watch. Now, if I can refer to page 4.17 on the agenda around the licensing objectives, would you consider joining pub watch and also agreeing with their principle of when one person is banned from one establishment in Rayleigh, they're banned from all?
Yes, I would. When I've been to pub watch meetings before, actually, because I worked for the Green King pub company, and all their pubs are signed up to it. And I definitely believe in the Bob scheme because it's just better for everybody. So I think it would be stupid for anyone not to be in it, and I'll definitely be in it. Yeah,
Thank
regularly, everything really. Yeah.
Chair, and my client would also be willing to sign up to any radio link scheme for the town centre, so you can be informed and inform the surrounding areas.
Lovely, thank you very much. Now, you're taking your clientele into your premises from 9 p.m. A further request, because that is good for the residents, because as you know, even just people outside can add to the noise that they're going to be hearing. Would you consider that your off-sales licence is reduced to 9 p.m? That would just help with people who may be turning up, coming in, buying, going, leaving, shutting the doors, opening the doors, and the noise again, and the impact on public nuisance for the surrounding residents.
Chair, that is something that we would consider. However, I believe that to agree that now could be quite detrimental. To give an example, if a couple comes in to the premises, has a slight snack and orders a bottle of wine, and then decides to take it home at 9:30 and consume it at home, by having that condition, that would very much be detrimental to the operation. What I would probably offer up as a condition is possibly no off sales will be provided to anybody just walking off the street to come in to purchase
After a certain time.
after a certain time. So,
Thank you.
I don't know if that will suffice. So to clarify, at a certain time at your discretion, that nobody will just come in to purchase a bottle of alcohol or alcohol and for off-sales purchase.
Thank you. Now, if I can refer to 4.27 on the agenda, and bear with me because I'm just going to pen myself down to there myself so I can see what I've highlighted. Point 4, notices will be displayed close to the entrance exit doors to the premises, reminding patrons of the residential area nearby and asking patrons to leave the premises quietly. We know a lot of landlords will do that. How will you enforce that to reduce the public nuisance element?
Chair, the premises is quite small, so there will be a member of staff probably outside most of the time and all time, and you know, within the briefing of staff, and Mr. Reynolds himself will be ensuring that the patrons outside of the building will not be adding to any nuisance. And it will be just in a normal, every day, every minute monitoring and advising and stopping people from doing so. If it was one of their clients and it continued, then very much so. We did say, you know, they will be banned from the premises if that is the problem.
Thank you. And on the same page, actually, point 9, which covers no waste or recycling materials, including bottles, shall be moved, removed, or placed in or outside areas between 2100 hours and 8 AM the following day. I'm asking if a consideration could be given for Sundays to change the 8 AM on Sundays to 9:30 AM.
Oh yeah, we won't be opening until 12 anyway, so yeah, we can move that till like 11. That's fine.
Right.
No one's going to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning, so it's fine.
Thank you. And I think I'm nearly there. I've also got one. What is your provision for deliveries due to the proximity of the zebra crossing in relation to public safety?
So what we get very small deliveries because we're not a big pub. We don't get sort of big dray lorries or anything. We get smaller sort of Amazon stuff. So it's going to be from has to be from the high street and then barrowed round. Unfortunately, you can't park outside of ours. There's absolutely no way because it's double yellows and zigzags, so it'll have to be brought round from the high street.
My only concern is how are you going to convey that to Mr. Amazon, who will park wherever Mr. Amazon wants to park?
Well, no, it won't be actually from Amazon. It will be from wholesalers, and they'll be told. Like you have to give them directions of where to make the deliveries, but they come from sort of breweries, and they do.
Yeah. So, Chair, just to recap that the breweries suppliers that Mr. Reynolds will be using, they will be given clear instructions of where they should park, and it will be the high street, and you know, and they will be forewarned that it is a bit of a distance.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Reynolds and Mr. Richards.
Thank you.
Our licensing officer, do you have any questions for the applicant?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Our interested parties, have you got questions for the applicant, please?
Not if I get to say something later on, is that right? Is that how this works? I get to say something
yes,
later on?
yes, it is. But if you would like to ask any questions, you're invited to now.
Okay. I believe that the beer garden is going to be open until 11 o'clock at night. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes.
So it's not 9 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock at night.
That is correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any further questions?
No.
Thank you very much. We now move on. Officers, there is nobody from the police or anybody here, is there?
That's correct, Chair. Yeah.
Thank you. So now we move back to you as our interested party, Mr. Brown, isn't it?
That's right, yes.
You've got 15 minutes yourself now to speak.
Okay, well, I've got two main concerns, which are safety and noise. The site is directly opposite the Crown's Beer Garden, and with premises on both sides of the road and the narrow pavements, it will be hard for passers-by to avoid the drunk people who congregate outside those premises, and drunk people can be very intimidating. Although the applicant says they'll try and stop customers going outside of the beer garden, the plans show there are 54 seats outside, and the beer garden is right next to the pavement, only separated by a low fence. So they won't be able to stop drunk passers-by from stopping there if they see their friends or enemies, and nor will they be able to influence people who have left their premises and have decided to just stop there. I know they want to sell craft beer, but I think I'm right in saying the licenses for alcohol in general. So if it turns out that the drinkers of Rayleigh are resistant to craft beers, then they might find themselves needing to change what they're selling and move to different types of alcohol which sell better. And as I understand it, the license allows for that. So there are other people who are using the town in the evenings and with their dining, coming home from work or evening clubs, and they shouldn't have to run the gauntlet of drunkenness between two premises. Secondly, I'm concerned about the noise generated by the premises and its customers. Although the applicant says they'll close the doors after 9 o'clock, 80% of the seating is outside. So I'm not sure that's going to make much difference. There's going to be people constantly going in and out to get drinks. And if that's full, then the noise of 54 people is going to be heard in all the way down the street, and it's going to go on until 11 o'clock at night. And those are my concerns. I think the representation from other residents, which I hope the committee have read, make it clear what it's like at the moment. If I can read just a couple of things from Mrs. Lawrence's statement, which is 4.41.
Chair, can I just come in there? I don't think we would want to be hearing other residents' written evidence from from this applicant, because it's not their direct evidence, and obviously members will be advised in due course about how much weight to give to the written representation. I don't think that's something that we want to do at this stage. I think you agree.
No, I do agree, Officer. Mr. Brown, I hope you appreciate that, because that's
sure, I mean, as long as you've all read them, then I hope you can.
I can assure you that we have all read through all these papers and the submissions. But take your time. Is there anything else you want to include?
Just to finish up, if you read those representations, you'll know the severe disturbance that people on the street are already experiencing, and which is caused by the drinking premises in the town and the drunken behaviour they generate. And I hope you'll listen to nearby families who don't want another pub so close to their homes. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, members of the subcommittee, you can ask further questions of the applicant, but only for clarification. Is there anything that you would like to ask?
No, I think all my questions were answered, Chair. Thank you.
Councillor Mrs. Newport.
Yeah, if I may, the boundary, is there going to be any fencing, or is it just the low fencing and little bits of shrubbery, or is there going to be something to withstand the clients within that boundary?
Chair, just to come in there. So these questions are just for the interested party at this stage. Can I just check, is that question for them?
My apologies to our officer. I'm literally reading the agenda and it says of the applicant. So
just wanted to check if Councillor Newport's question is for the interested party, or because it sounded like it was for the applicant.
Yeah, my apologies.
potentially. Could we
Yeah,
just check?
No, for the applicant, could they just clarify? Could they just clarify whether that's on the plan? There's little green shrubbery. Is there fencing, low-level fencing, or is it just decorative shrubbery? Is it to keep the clients within their boundary, to stop them just stepping over it?
Chair, I think what we need to do is just finish the evidence of the interested party, and then if there is any further questions that members have within your gift to go back to reconsider. At the moment, we're just dealing with the interested party submissions.
Yep.
We just need to check if anyone has any questions for the interested parties, and once we've had all those questions, we can then go back if Councillor Newport has a question for the applicant.
Okay, if
Yeah.
you have a look at the agenda later, it just says applicant, not interested party. So my apologies, subcommittee members. Have you any questions, Councillor Mrs. Loreenshaw? For
no, I haven't any any questions for the interested parties. Thank you.
Yeah. Councillor Mrs. Newport?
No questions for the interested parties.
Thank you. Do the applicants have any questions for the interested party?
Sorry, no, Chair, don't have any questions.
Thank you. Our licensing officer, do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you. So Chris, just to be certain, this is where our subcommittee members can now ask the applicant if they need anything clarified.
Yeah, I mean, the questions have already been asked for the applicant. They've already given their evidence. But if you feel, Chair, that there is something that you need to go back on, then it's within your, you know, your gift to go back. I think Councillor Newport does have a question. So if you're in agreement, then there's no issues with that.
I am, and I've got one question for clarification as well.
Okay.
Thank you. Councillor Mrs. Newport, please ask that question again of the applicant. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The boundary, is that little bushes, little shrubbery, low fencing? What level of fencing or to maintain the clients within your boundary? What is that? Could you just clarify that, please?
Yeah, so it's going to be about 4 foot high actually, and there's going to be like black metal bars that go around, wooden things. It's going to look nice, and it sort of just like pens people in going from the top round. So you can't step over it or anything. Like, and it will be an enclosed area.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I've got a question for clarification for the applicant. When Councillor Mrs. Loreenshaw asked the question about the benches at the front, you clearly stated that they're for non-vertical drinking, so for people who are sitting down. Was that correct? And if so, are people allowed to stand in there that could then unfortunately trip or fall into the walkway?
So there are for sitting, but that fence that I just mentioned will be in front of it, so they won't. You wouldn't be able to fall sort of into the pavement area, but you could stand next to it. Yeah.
So people can still stand out the front, and there could be the possibility that they could stumble out onto the pavement.
No, not out onto the pavement, because that aforementioned fence will be there, which will be quite high, and that's in front of it.
And the fence goes right across. There's no walkway in.
So the walkways are both sides, and there's no chairs sort of that close to the walkways. The walkways will always be clear.
Right. Okay. Thank you for answering
Thank you.
that. It was me. I'm just going back up to my agenda. Okay. So we're coming to closing statements. Any party is permitted to make a short closing statement not exceeding 2 minutes. In the order of the closing statements will be, first of all, the applicant. Would you like to make a closing statement?
Yeah. So the closing statement. I've never made a closing statement, so bear with me a little bit. So for a closing statement, I'm completely happy to work alongside the police and the EHO to maintain a quality sort of establishment. A lot of the questions come from drunkenness and spilling out and afterwards, but I agree with the statement that it's legal to sell alcohol to someone who's intoxicated, and I'd uphold that law. So I wouldn't, it's such a small place, I wouldn't envision sort of having the that sort of public nuisance. Yeah, I'd like to just maintain a quality place that I've got myself. Sort of, I've got the 5-star hygiene rating and stuff, and so that's what I'd like to bring to Rayleigh and really create something that Rayleigh would be proud of. Sort of, obviously there's a lot of negativity about this application, but I would like to it be seen as a positive thing. It would bring jobs to Rayleigh, and it'll be something really nice from top of the hill, really good.
Yeah, and may I add, you know, there is a lot of concern, but again, liaising with the police and the environmental health to a point where they've agreed conditions and they haven't submitted any objections or representation, and therefore, if they support, we can only say that they support with the conditions that we have supplied and agreed to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That is your 2 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our licensing officer, have you got any closing statement?
No, thank you.
Thank you. And our interested party, Mr. Brown, have you any closing statement?
Only to reiterate what I've said already, that the residents are fed up with drunkenness, the noise, the broken glass and litter, and the safety in the town, and there is severe disturbance at night, and we hope that there won't be another pub so close to our homes. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, the committee will now adjourn to consider the case. We will return in approximately, our officers could advise on that, I would say an hour.
Yeah, whatever you kind of feel you need, chair and members. I think that sounds probably as most we would need. I think that's
Members,
an okay
are
indication.
you happy with? Yeah, committee members, are you happy with an hour's adjournment? Thank
Yeah.
you. To announce the decision. This will also be sent to you in writing. You do not have to wait, but you are welcome to do so.
Yeah, and chair, obviously, if we are back a lot shorter period, then we will contact the parties and see if they can come back earlier on the call, so no one's waiting around unnecessarily.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.